Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Andropa 101. I've been away for a little while, so I just wanted to, to get back, get a video out. But this is mostly a responsive video, so if you're not really into watching the response, please feel free to just watch it. But this is to a user named WD40, and I had messaged him or her. I'm not really sure on the whether or not this is a male or a female. This is in no way slant towards you, WD. I'm just stating I don't know. But I had said earlier that I would give you a much more detailed response concerning OS complexity. Now, we have to define what we're talking about here, because if we talk about the raw aspect of an OS, any OS that you create is very complex. Hours and hours and hours of programming to make it work with a specific device. And you have to remember that each of these devices does what it does for its own ecosystem of devices, such as iOS. It has to work with all of its preceding and future devices, such as I think it's what are they, 10, iOS 10. I don't really know. I don't have an iPhone. Again, I'm not an iPhone guy. I don't have one, but I do defend iPhone and I do defend Android. They're both great ecosystems, and I'm a pro fan of both. But what I was trying to my point was that the iOS market and their device and their OS, it works really well with their devices. It's very responsive. If you jailbreak it, you can make it much more customizable. And I do agree with you. That is one of the drawbacks of having an iPhone. And let's be honest. I've talked to a few people online, reviewers, and pretty much the response is that the majority of iPhone users are not jailbreaking their device. They just like them to work the way they do. So, with that being said, they're not getting the customization options that you can get within Android. Now, does that mean that the complexity of an OS is far more robust? I don't know that that defines that point. And the reason is because customization is usually a user preference. My wife has an iPhone, and she absolutely loves it. She can't understand mine, and it doesn't mean because she's not smart. It just means because she's not used to that type of market. I used to have an iPhone some time ago. I had one, and when I had it, I knew it. Then when I left that market and came over to the Android market, because I had Android, then went to iPhone, and then went back to Android. Not because I didn't like the market, it was just the prices of the device at the time. So, but it was just a money thing. And both markets are great, okay? And so I'm not really sure what I just said, so I'm just kind of getting back into the point here. The iOS device works for its people, okay? And they're not sheep, they're not stupid, they're not idiots, as Ben Owen was trying to proclaim in his very long responses of that just were all personal attacks. He's using ad hominem attacks, not one based with any kind of logic. At least your responses, even though a little bit of it is opinionated and a little bit of bias, you at least give a response with the reasons for that. And you did point out a few things, and I'm kind of moving from the OS market more to your previous response, which was about the physical devices themselves and the hardware. You were talking about iris scanners, IR blasters, which, by the way, are another thing that devices are phasing out. IR blasters will not be in future devices. They will be in more lower end, like maybe Moto or maybe an LG. LG seems to kind of stick onto that, but if you want a high end like a Pixel, or you want to hang out with Samsung, you're just not going to get it. Just not part of the market. So they're not finding any real activity in the market for that. But back to the point. So the hardware is great. The OS is a totally different thing. It is a very they're very different. Doesn't mean that one is better than the other. One is superior to the other. If you're an iPhoner, you love the OS, and it doesn't mean it's because it's simple. There are lots of things you can do with the iOS, and it works across the board. That's not so much the same with an Android. Let's be honest. If you had Android product 1 here, and Android product 2 here, and Android product 3 here, are all three of them going to sync? Probably not, unless it's the same brand. Okay, so Samsung, you'd need Samsung this, and Samsung that. Well, yeah, but what if you find something that you like better that's an LG? That doesn't really fit, and it doesn't maybe work with that ecosystem. Okay, just because it's Android does not mean it's going to work across the board. This is what my point was about the AirBuds and the AirPods, or whatever they're called. While they are not for me, they are for the people that are using iPhones. And they are a great product. The price matches the quality of tech. You're getting an accelerometer. You're getting a proximity sensor. You don't get those out of other devices. Plus, think about this. You are getting the ability to communicate with your device. Now think about it. This is something that Samsung and everybody else is going to eventually have. And I think Google is going to probably come up with a set for their own, for their Pixel. And I think they're just going to be amazing. Now, you may not like the look of them, but the technology involved, that's what's cool. But moving back to the point, I always go down these rabbit trails. But my point is, the complexity of the OS is all user preference. It has always been that way. What you prefer is not necessarily superior. It just means what you can do, the differences in what you want. That's my point about complexity. There's really not a complexity. It's there's more you can do, customizable options with Android, but you can do the same thing with iPhone. If you jailbreak it, guess what? You get tons of options, and I know lots of people that have. Personally, not me. I'm not into the jailbreaking thing. But I just wanted to shoot this response out to WD, and I will, hopefully it'll get loaded up here in a few minutes, but anyway, like I said, I will try and kick a video out here, maybe just in a few minutes, hopefully, if this one uploads and all that. I don't know, but I'm going to try and get one in here in the next few days, but before Christmas. So anyway, you guys keep safe, and I still have not seen that Samsung update for the security patch update. I'm keeping an eye out for it, but anyway, you guys stay safe and have a very, very Merry Christmas.